Have you ever felt like the moment you stop chasing someone, they start chasing you back? What if the key to getting the love and respect you want isn't to work harder, but to take a step back? Welcome to today's transformative journey, where we blend the ancient wisdom of Stoicism with the modern no-contact rule in relationships, in a society that glorifies the pursuit, whether it's success, happiness, or love. The idea of not chasing after what you want might seem utterly counterintuitive, yet Stoicism, a philosophy founded over 2 millennia ago, teaches us the profound power of emotional independence and self-control. It emphasizes focusing on our own growth and virtues, suggesting that true contentment comes from within, not from external validations or the approval of others. Today we're diving deep into how embracing Stoic principles can revolutionize your love life. We'll explore how the no-contact rule isn't just a tactic to get someone back or to play hard to get, but a meaningful practice that fosters self-respect and inner peace by withdrawing from the chase and centering on your own well-being. You not only enhance your personal growth, but also become inherently more attractive to others. Are you ready to unlock the paradox, where less becomes more, where your absence speaks louder than words, and your self-sufficiency becomes magnetic? We'll guide you through practical steps to implement this Stoic approach in your personal life, helping you to not only navigate relationships more effectively, but also to achieve a greater sense of self-worth and contentment. So, stay tuned, because this could be the game share you've been waiting for in your journey toward healthier, more rewarding relationships. If you find value in this exploration of ancient philosophy, meeting modern-day challenges, please like this video and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful videos that will help you live your best life. Thank you, and let's begin. Number 1. The power of guarding your time. What if I told you that one of the most attractive things about you is how you use your time in a world where everyone wants things right away? The man who doesn't offer himself right away gives a strong message. He values his time when he puts his own goals and health ahead of always having someone's back. This shows that he is a man with a purpose and knows his worth. Imagine this situation. You're in the middle of an important project or spending time with close friends when all of a sudden your phone vibrates with a text from her. Instead of dropping everything and responding right away, you pause, remember that you have other things that are just as important, if not more important, than her sudden need for your attention, and you thoughtfully tell her that you're busy but will get back to her when you have time. Setting limits on your time shows that you respect yourself and her, teaching her that your attention is something to be earned and appreciated, not something that should be given on demand. When you do respond, maybe after finishing a task or enjoying your evening, you can say something like, "I was working on an important project earlier, but I'm free now, what's up?" This shows that you're not avoiding her. You're just committed to your life, which makes you even more attractive. This way of thinking is very in line with Stoic advice. One important Stoic principle is that you should be in charge of how you react to outside events. Instead of rushing to please her or get approval, you should stay calm, centered, and in charge. This will give you a sense of inner peace and give off an aura of quiet strength. By not being available all the time, you avoid the trap of overvaluing someone else's time at the expense of your own. For example, women often admire men who are goal-driven and not easily distracted by fleeting desires. When you respect your own time, you show that you have a full life. Women are drawn to men who understand that if they want to be a part of your life, they need to align with your purpose instead of expecting you to drop it for them. By doing this, you project confidence. Men with self-respect and discipline that women naturally find beautiful You set a standard for how you want to be treated and create an environment where respect and admiration go both ways. So the next time you're tempted to put her needs ahead of your own, stop and think about what you're doing. By honoring yourself first, you not only boost your own worth, but you also make room for better, more balanced relationships. Show your independence in Thrive number 2. When someone isn't constantly trying to get our attention, we naturally want to know what's going on beneath the surface. It's in our nature to be interested in mysteries. When a woman sees that you're not too eager, it shows that you're sure of yourself. My friend has a strong pull. Imagine you're talking to a woman who seems to be sending you mixed messages. Instead of trying to figure out what she means by everything she does or doing everything you can to win her favor, you decide to take a step back. You don't do this in a rude or dismissive way, but with a quiet guarantee that you have your own priorities. You're not in a hurry or needing her approval. You've just sent her a subtle message that says, "I value my time and I value myself." Now watch how she reacts. You'll notice something interesting. She might start to lean in and start more conversations, or just want to be with you more often. That's because by leaving that small gap, you've sparked her interest and added a level of complexity and depth that she didn't expect, making her wonder what's beneath the surface. At that moment, you've become more than just another guy. She can't wait to figure out the puzzle that is you. This method comes from the Stoic philosophy, which says to take responsibility for your actions and feelings while letting go of things you can't change, like how she reacted. Stoicism teaches that real strength comes from being able to handle your emotions and not from getting approval from other people. By not playing games or over-investigating, you're just recognizing that your happiness doesn't depend on how she responds. You're showing that you are a man with your own life, goals, and passions. That kind of quiet confidence is irresistibly attractive. Using Stoic principles in your relationships doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means controlling your wants and not letting them control your actions. By staying calm, grounded and independent, no matter what she does or says, you show her that you're emotionally strong, and that strength says, "I don't need you to complete me. I'm already complete." There's a lot of people who want to be independent, but being independent doesn't mean pushing people away. It means being strong in who you are and knowing that your happiness is self-made. You have your own interests and passions, and while you're open to sharing your life with someone, you're not desperate for it. You're a whole person on your own, and that kind of emotional stability is rare, which makes it all the more appealing. Before we move on to the next point, if this speaks to you, please leave a comment below, whether you want to share your thoughts or just type, "I'm already complete." Your input helps build a strong community of people who share your views. Let's move on to the next big change. Show her that you value other things more than she does. To really stand out from the crowd and show her that you care about her, you need to focus on bigger and more important things in your life. Number 3. Show her that you have different needs. Imagine being the type of man who can captivate a woman without even trying. You wouldn't have to chase her attention, show her love all the time, or try to win her approval. What you don't do is what makes you strong. This is what Stoicism with people means. Focusing on what you can control and letting go of everything else is one of the most important lessons of Stoicism. When it comes to romantic relationships, this way of thinking can completely change how you're seen. It's not about not caring. It's about taking control of your space and showing that you're the center of your own world. Women are drawn to men who live with purpose and have interests and passions that don't just revolve around the relationship. When a man spends his weekends getting better at a hobby or skill, like fitness, art or adventure, even though he doesn't always have time for it, it sends a strong but quiet message. He's having a meaningful life, and his worth doesn't depend on what other people think of him. This makes him much more interesting. The woman thinks of him as a serious person who won't drop everything at the last minute because he values his time. People often think that pulling away or not responding right away to a woman's texts or calls is playing games, but in reality, it's showing that your life doesn't stop just because someone is interested in you. A man who knows his worth doesn't look for outside approval to validate his existence. Instead, he follows his own path, sets goals, and pursues passions that help him grow as a person. The fact that he is always working on himself naturally earns him respect and love from everyone, not just women. Think about what would happen if you showed something subtle but clear: independence. You're not ignoring her out of spite or to manipulate her emotions. Instead, you're showing her that you're a man whose life is filled with purpose and your happiness isn't tied to her. This emotional maturity demonstrates that you're not easily swayed by outside forces, something deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. The more you embrace this mindset, the more you radiate confidence, making you stand out in ways that others can't compete with. The real goal here is not to make her feel neglected, but to showcase that your life is just as important as hers. By maintaining this balance, you allow room for mutual respect and individuality to flourish. This leads to a deeper connection, where both people appreciate each other's uniqueness, creating a bond that is far more meaningful than one built on neediness or desperation. When you let go of the need to impress, that's when you truly become impressive. Number 4, trigger her desire to chase after you have. You ever noticed how the things we can't easily grasp often captivate us the most? There's a natural allure to what remains slightly out of reach. And this is particularly true when it comes to human attraction. If you want to truly capture a woman's interest, you don't have to chase her relentlessly. In fact, sometimes the key to drawing her closer is to do the exact opposite. Give her space and let her come to you. This taps into one of the most profound and often overlooked aspects of human psychology, igniting her pursuit instinct throughout history. Pursuit has played an essential role not only in survival, but also in romantic attraction. While modern times may seem far removed from our primal roots, these instincts still shape the way we navigate relationships today. There's something about the thrill of the chase that fuels desire, and when a woman feels she has to work just a little to get your attention, it taps into that deep-seated drive. Imagine this scenario: you're receiving constant messages from someone who's eager to get your attention. At first it's flattering, but over time, that constant pursuit begins to feel more like pressure, and the once pleasant interaction becomes draining. You start losing interest. The same applies to how attraction works. When a woman feels you are constantly available, the excitement begins to fade. On the other hand, when your presence is less predictable, you suddenly become more intriguing. This is where the power of intermittent reinforcement comes into play, a psychological phenomenon where unpredictability keeps people more engaged than consistent attention. By focusing on your own life and not always seeking her out, you're giving her a reason to wonder, to question, and to chase after the answer. It's not about playing games. It's about creating a natural space where she can feel compelled to pursue. You think of it like this: if you're always available and say yes every time she asks to meet, what message are you sending? You might think you're showing interest, but to her it might signal that you don't have other priorities or passions in your life. Over time, she could begin taking your availability for granted. Now imagine turning down an invitation not to play hard to get, but because you're genuinely focused on your own goals, passions, and social life. That shift gets her interested. Why can't I always reach you? What's keeping you busy? All of a sudden, she's more interested in you because you're living your life in a serious way. This makes perfect sense. Stoicism teaches you to keep your emotions in check and not let outside factors like a woman's attention affect your inner peace. Because you're constantly seeking her approval or validation, she has the power to affect your emotional state. But if you step back and are less available, you show her that your happiness doesn't depend on her attention alone, which is not only empowering, but also very attractive. So how can you put this into practice in your life? Focus on what you love. When you're focused on your own goals, you create an air of mystery and independence that draws her in. And when she does make the effort to connect, it feels better for both of you because you're not giving her attention out of need, but because you're genuinely interested in her. And that's a powerful dynamic to cultivate now that you know how to make her want to chase after you. Take a moment to think about this. If it hits home for you, please leave a comment below or just type, "I don't chase, I attract." By doing this, you're reaffirming your control over your own life and emotions, something really attractive. Let's move on to the next one. Point 5 makes her interested. Think of a woman is interested in figuring out what's going on with a man who doesn't instantly try to get all of her attention. It's in that pause, that deliberate space, where his allure grows stronger. By choosing to strategically distance himself, a man becomes more interesting, taps into something deeper. He awakens a woman's natural need to feel wanted, valued, and drawn in. This small action can cause a big change, and she may start to follow him. Studies have shown that women are more interested in men who keep their identities a secret. When a man shows restraint, he shows that he values himself and is worthy without having to say it. He becomes someone who isn't desperate for approval, which is exactly what draws her in. For example, Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher who spent his life focused on duty and inner strength without wanting attention or approval. When a man stops trying to win a woman's favor all the time, he lives by the same principles and shows that his life has a purpose. He is captivating because he is sure of his own path and doesn't need approval from others. Stoicism teaches us not to depend on other people's approval, but on our own inner strength and self-reliance. When a man thinks in this way, his presence becomes more commanding and his absence more profound, and the balance between the two creates a magnetic pull that few can resist. But it doesn't end there. By being unpredictable, he can bring new life to a relationship that might have become too routine by adding a little surprise to it. She can spark something again that seemed to fade over time when she doesn't know what's going to happen next. It's not about mind games, it's about building up expectation. When she doesn't know what his next move is, she becomes more interested. As people become more curious and interested, the Stoic theory of moderation and balance helps to keep this delicate dance going. While intrigue is strong, too much of it can backfire. If you ignore her for too long, she might feel neglected or unimportant. The key is to find the right mix. Be interested, but don't let it control what you do. By keeping things unpredictable without completely cutting ties, you not only keep her interest, but you also protect your own sense of identity and independence, which are important parts of the Stoic mindset. Imagine you're in a long-term relationship, and everything feels predictable. By taking a step back and giving yourself space every once in a while, you can rekindle the excitement that first drew you together. It's not about withdrawing your affection, but about creating those brief moments of absence that make her appreciate your presence all the more when you're together. This sense of ebb and flow can breathe new life into a relationship, keeping it dynamic instead of static. This approach is based on the Stoic ideal of controlling your emotions and actions. You're not acting on instinct. Instead, you're carefully considering how to respond. As a result, she will be drawn to you not because you're playing a game, but because you live a deeply attractive life full of self-control, purpose, and balance. No, you're not trying to control her feelings. It's about living with purpose, being happy inside, and giving off an air of confidence and wonder that makes people want to be a part of your life. Self-assurance and strength inside. Having confidence and being sure of yourself are two of the most attractive qualities a man can have. But the confidence that comes from Stoicism goes beyond looks. It's not about being cocky or cocky-looking. It's about building inner strength and a firm belief in your own worth, no matter what other people say or do. A man who follows Stoic principles knows that true value doesn't come from trying to please others or satisfy short-lived wants. Think about the story of John, a man who has fully adopted Stoic knowledge. If you ask John what he wants to do with his life, he doesn't care what other people think. He is led by his own moral compass and the good qualities he wants to show a woman. John does not try to get her attention or support, which is a common mistake. Instead, he stays grounded and knows that his worth is not based on how she reacts or shows interest in him. This quiet confidence sends a strong message. John is a man who knows what he's worth and won't give it up for anyone else. John shows one of the main ideas of Stoicism by having this attitude. He keeps his emotions in check and doesn't let impulsive wants or emotions weigh him down. Instead, he approaches relationships with care, making sure they are based on mutual respect and shared values. Instead of chasing after a woman's love, he stays patient and chooses to stay away from anyone who doesn't see his worth. By doing this, John not only keeps his dignity, but also creates an air of mystery and depth that many women find irresistibly attractive. It's men like John who can stay grounded, even when outside forces are pulling them down. His unwavering confidence comes from refusing to settle for less than he deserves, and that's what makes him stand out. Women like men who are sure of themselves because it shows strength, stability, and emotional intelligence, traits that make people respect and admire them even when they face problems or limits. John's strict rules and discipline only make him more attractive. He doesn't look for acceptance or validation from other people. Instead, he works on developing his own virtues because he knows that his real power lies in his ability to control his emotions and stay calm. Stoicism teaches us how to deal with stress. Real confidence isn't something you put on. It's something you're naturally strong at when a man knows who he is and won't give up his values to live up to these Stoic ideals. You can also build up this powerful confidence if you focus on becoming the best version of yourself instead of trying to be someone you're not. Women will naturally be drawn to you. But what's more important is that you'll gain a sense of fulfillment, peace, and strength that can't be shaken by anyone or anything. So as you go through life and relationships, let your confidence and self-assurance shine. Let go of the need for other people's approval and focus on your own growth. In doing so, you'll not only attract the attention and admiration of others, but you'll also find a deep sense of inner peace that will last a lifetime. Picture of approval. Walking into a room full of people and still feeling in charge of your emotions and actions. You're not affected by how other people see you or looking for approval. Instead, you go through life with quiet confidence. This is what Stoicism is all about, focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. And when it comes to relationships with women, this is especially true. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't need their constant approval because it shows emotional strength and inner strength. One of the most attractive traits you can show is that you're self-reliant, showing that your happiness and sense of self-worth don't depend on someone else's approval. The moment you stop looking for her approval, you change the dynamic. You stop being someone who's chasing attention and start embodying the principles of Stoicism. Here are some Stoic-inspired actions you can take to keep this air of self-discipline and calm around women. Don't linger after a conversation with a woman, whether it was light-hearted or deep. The important thing is to know when to leave. Say goodbye and walk away. Don't wait around hoping for another chance to keep talking. This isn't about being distant. It's about showing that you value your time and aren't hanging on her every word. A Stoic man knows his worth and doesn't need to linger in search of validation. Keep your texting in check. In this day and age, texting can easily become a way to stay in touch all the time, but sending too many messages to someone you're just getting to know can make you seem needy. Take a more calm approach. Send texts on purpose, not because you need to feel better. This self-control and patience are Stoic values. By not constantly trying to get her attention, you show that your worth doesn't depend on how many times you text her during the day. Respect her limits. Physical touch is important, but it shouldn't feel forced or one-sided. When getting to know a woman, it's important to respect her space. Do small things like holding hands or touching her arm, but don't push for more if she doesn't feel ready. By letting her set the pace, you show that you respect her boundaries, and in turn, she will show that you respect hers. Control over what you want. Stoicism teaches that controlling yourself is much more powerful than controlling other people. At its core, Stoicism is about controlling your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Use these ideas when you're with women. You show that you don't need to be liked, but instead live by your own standards. Women naturally like this kind of stability because it shows that you are confident and emotionally strong. In the long run, this approach not only makes you more attractive, but it also helps you build healthier, more balanced relationships that aren't based on insecurity or a constant need for approval. Add new energy to the relationship to make it stronger. Imagine that one day you're really interested in her, having meaningful moments with her, giving her genuine compliments and giving her your full attention. The next day, you seem distant, focused on your own projects and less available, leaving her to wonder what changed. This change in her behavior sets off a chain reaction in her mind that makes her want to know where she really stands with you. It's like you're slowly revealing puzzle pieces that make her work to see the whole picture. Intermittent reinforcement is a psychological principle that says when you give rewards or attention at unpredictable times, they have a much bigger effect on shaping behavior. It keeps the mind interested by making it impossible to predict when the next moment of affection or attention will arrive. This dynamic can make a routine relationship more interesting and unpredictable. This is where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics taught that true strength comes from mastering yourself, not others. When you stop seeking validation from a woman and instead stay focused on your own goals, you naturally shift the power dynamic. You become less predictable, which is interesting. You're not withholding affection out of manipulation. Instead, you're showing that you're in charge. Think about how, when you're with her, you give your all, but when you're on your own path, you pull back a little, creating a balance. She wants your attention more because she doesn't know why you're not as available. This uncertainty draws her in because you're showing that your life is about more than just getting her approval. For example, you might share a private moment one day and then get back to work, or hobbies the next, leaving her to think about your priorities. Or you might give her a compliment today and then keep the conversation light tomorrow without the need for praise. This subtle push and pull keeps her interested, making her more invested in getting your approval. Stoicism helps us remember that being independent is a big part of being free. By keeping calm and not letting her reactions control what you do, you're showing that you're strong. Balance not only makes you stronger, it also makes you look better. Women naturally like men who are strong, sure of themselves, and not easily swayed by outside events. In other words, if you work on your self-control and emotional independence, you'll create an irresistible dynamic that makes her want to know you better. In conclusion, combining Stoic wisdom with intermittent reinforcement can turn a simple relationship into something exciting and unpredictable. By focusing on your own growth, inner strength, and emotional independence, you'll naturally become more interesting, which will make her want to know you better. Try to get your attention instead of expecting it to come to you. Number 9. Get stronger emotionally in interactions, especially with women. Emotional resilience is a rare and valuable trait. It is a central idea in Stoic philosophy, which says that strength lies not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. Imagine this. A woman tests your patience by asking for reassurance or validation in order to get a reaction. How you react shows how emotionally resilient you are. Do you let what she does affect your mood, or do you stay calm? Calm and steady. Stoicism teaches us to separate ourselves from outside influences and concentrate on what we can manage in our own minds when we have mental strength. You show that your worth doesn't depend on other people's approval. You show that outside factors, like a woman's thoughts or actions, don't have much of an effect on your sense of self. This kind of inner strength gives you an air of mystery and strength that makes you stand out. Imagine that she plays hard to get or sends mixed signals, leaving you wondering about her intentions instead of rushing to respond or seek clarity. You stop, think about your values, and stay steady in your actions. This conscious control over your feelings shows that you are not easily swayed by short-lived attention. You are led by your own values, not by the ups and downs of other people's behavior. For example, a woman might try to make you feel bad about your confidence by saying things that make you feel defensive. Instead of reacting defensively, you could choose selective disengagement, which is based on emotional mastery. By not giving in to her, you show that you are emotionally strong and that her approval or lack of it has no effect on your sense of self-worth. This level of control shows that a man is stable, calm, and sure of himself. Women are naturally drawn to men with this kind of emotional strength because it shows that you are reliable, stable, and able to handle problems with grace. When you stop trying to please other people and start building your inner strength, powerful things start to happen. When women start to chase you, you become the man who doesn't give up when things get tough and who radiates confidence without looking for praise. But let's be clear, being emotionally strong doesn't mean you're cold or distant. It means keeping your center in a world that tries to throw you off. It shows that your emotional core stays strong no matter what happens around you. This kind of strength is attractive on a deeper level, not because it's flashy, but because it's rare and comes from self-control. When you follow Stoic principles, you don't just look confident. You become confident. Your stability in the face of problems makes it possible for real, important connections to form. Thrive women will be attracted to you because they can tell that you are a man who knows himself, doesn't need to show his worth to other people, and has something to offer besides fleeting charm. In the end, emotional strength isn't just a way to get women to like you. It's a way of life that makes you happier and helps you build stronger, more satisfying relationships. By controlling your feelings, you create a magnetic presence that naturally draws people to you. This makes you more attractive and sets you up for a life lived on your own terms, with peace, purpose, and power. We've looked at the interesting relationship between Stoic wisdom and modern relationship dynamics, specifically how taking a step back instead of leaning in can change your love life. Stoicism teaches us the worth of emotional independence and the allure of self-sufficiency. It also shows that sometimes less is more. If you focus on your own growth and let go of the chase, you'll attract love, respect, and real connection. Remember that the path to better relationships isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about developing a genuine sense of self-worth and peace within yourself. This approach not only makes you more attractive, but it also fills your life with deeper, more meaningful interactions. So take these lessons to heart and use them in your life. If you found these insights helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions. Your interaction with our content helps us grow and keep giving you useful information. Don't forget to subscribe for more updates and watch the suggested videos that are popping up on your screen right now to learn more and keep working on yourself. Hey, thanks for watching. Until next time, remember to live your life with the knowledge of Stoicism.